I started entrepreneurship back when I was 12 years old. My mom was off on a military trip, and my dad was supposed to take care of me, my brother, and my sister. Well, my dad had a drug addiction issue, but he assured my mom he would be able to take care of us for that month. But about 2 weeks in, my brother and I were walking home from elementary school, and we saw a moving truck drive away from the home. Well, we went in and realized he took everything. He completely wiped us out. Took all the electronics, the furniture, like just everything. So me and my brother saw how hard my mom had worked, and we wanted to help. So we asked our friend Brian for his lawnmower, and we started mowing lawns. I remember we would have our bike in our left hand and the lawnmower in our right, and we did that all summer. And we had generated about $4,000 by the end of the summer, and we used that money towards our school clothes and school supplies, and then went into middle school. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves, being able to buy our own school clothes, but I don't think we realized that we were 12 with a couple $100 in our pocket at the time, and our teachers, they didn't really take that too well. They actually accused us of being drug dealers and called our mom in for questioning. And even after she had explained to them how we had got the money, they did not believe that we had got it from honest work. So a couple months later, we moved to Maryland, and at this time, we went to our 10th school. We wanted to mow lawns, but we realized the property management company had mowed all the lawns on the military installation. So to keep us busy and out of trouble, we came up with a new idea to buy a hot dog cart with the rest of our lawn mowing earnings. So we sat down with our awesome mom and told her about what we wanted to do, and she listened to us, and we had found a hot dog cart about 10 hours away. And my mom hopped right in her car and drove 10 hours to go pick the hot dog cart up. And we did our first event at the age of 14, and we made about $2,000 at our first event. And we had then transitioned the hot dog cart to a concession stand. It was called Ritz Fish and Fries, and we sold fish, fries, hot dogs, burgers, and ultimately we generated about $6,000 in the event while we were in high school. At the age of 17, we moved to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and we were worried about having the same addictive genes as our father. Me and my twin brother vowed not to drink or smoke, and we actually still live by that today. But it was going okay at the new school, but we got a wake-up call. Me and the other black students at the school had gotten multiple letters, hate letters, shoved in our lockers. And I remember one of them saying, go back where you came from. And one day we were walking through the school, and we seen a huge poster of a black man being hung with fire around him. And we later found out that one of the teachers had took the poster down and hid it because she didn't want the student to get in any trouble. So we had later removed ourselves from that environment and went to a private school. But of course, private schools are expensive. So our mother had a lot of issues with paying for both of our tuitions. So after her 14 schools, we later realized we couldn't go to prom or walk across stage because of lack of money. But our awesome mom, she had still bought our cap and gown and took us to Sears to make sure that we were able to at least get our senior pictures taken there. So that was pretty cool. So I didn't dwell on the negative or wasting time. We jumped right into college. But lack of money for dorms forced us to have to stay in our car for that first year. And also on top of that, we were dealing with a lot of racial issues at this new school. I remember walking into the bathroom and seeing my brother's name carved on the wall. Daryl is the N-word. And teachers would call us cotton pickers, and we were even pulled over. And the cop said that he saw on campus that there was smoke coming out of our car and that we were smoking weed. But it's funny, we've never smoked or drunk in our life, so I don't understand how he got to that conclusion. But to keep our mind off the negative, we started a new business called Twiggity's Berries. It was going to be this chocolate strawberry business where we're going to ship chocolate strawberries across the U.S. And we said, if all else fails, I mean, it'd be a check magnet. So we also, what was very important to us was to mentor the youth. And so we work with this mentoring program where we help the kids with their homework, and we also wanted to teach them that if they just kept going, there's always, light at the end of the tunnel. So we ended up graduating with a total of 5 degrees amongst both of us. So we took a break, and we spent that year trying to save money, and our mother actually went overseas to help us save up and earn the money to start tberries.com, and we generated about $25,000, and we designed packaging with that. We bought inventory, and we also created a website, but we didn't have any money for marketing. So I was watching Cake Boss one day, and I said, well, they do cakes, we do chocolate, why not be the chocolate version of Cake Boss? And I did my research, and I found out that 1,000 people were pitching them weekly. So I said, I need to find a creative way to pitch directly to the CEO of TLC and Discovery, which I did. And a couple weeks later, got a call back. And we used that traction and feedback to sign with a TV production company. And we then shot a sizzle reel, and we weren't sure if we were going to get the show, so we used that traction to then drive 10 hours to Chicago to get on the Steve Harvey Talk Show, which we actually did, and we got featured on the show. And we also got featured in the Kiplinger magazine from that, and we used all those outlets to then get local newspapers, radio shows, and even TV news segments to do stories on us. And we then generated about $60,000 in our first 3 months in business. And we did all this out of our stepdad's townhome. We took over his whole house, except for his room, of course. And we called that house the Berry Home. T-Berries received a lot of nationwide attention, but I saw a need for funding, so I drove from Red Line, Pennsylvania to Silicon Valley, California, and I got the quickest but the best jobs I could in the Silicon Valley area to understand the larger tech companies. So I got an opportunity to work at Apple, Google, and Facebook. And while remotely running tberries.com. So 6 months later, while in California, we added floral and opened up our first T-Berries and floral store on Fort Meade, Maryland, on a military installation. After the first year in the store, we generated about $500,000 at this point, and that ultimately led to the military wanting us to take more stores and later take over all the flower shops on the military installations. So I had to go back to Maryland at this point and design and build the second store in DC, where we subcontracted out our store to a franchisee, And now I'm in California taking everything I learned from gifting, and we're working on an app called Giftmize. We're changing the way people give gifts on social media through a social gifting platform. So I'm really excited about that. Although I'm still on my journey, I just wanted to share my story to this point in hopes that I could encourage someone to just keep going, stay positive, and to not give up despite whatever they're going through at that point in time.